Thank you all very much again for joining us this afternoon. So this session it's split into two separate parts. The first part is just a few slides explaining some of the new features and functionality within Windows 11. We'll then follow on. We'll drop out the presentation and have a look at some hands-on demos of the functionality. So topics we're going to have a look at. First one is to mention the Windows 10 end of life, just to make you aware of the date and what this actually means. An introduction to Windows 11. We'll have a bit of a look at the user interface and then sort of design enhancements, some of the productivity and multitasking features, and then just a few details on additional performance and security features that have been built into Windows 11. So first one to look at is to make you aware of the Windows 10, what Microsoft call end of life. Essentially, on the 14th of October this year, Microsoft will no longer provide updates or support for Windows 10. Hence why there's the big push for users being encouraged to upgrade to Windows 11 so that you can get the continued security, automatic updates, or security patches, and also updates for glitches and issues. Just to make you aware, the end of life, it affects all versions of Windows 10. So whether you've got it, whether it's a Home, Pro, or Enterprise version, as of the 14th of October, it will no longer be supported. So any new security issues that come to light, it's just to make you aware, Microsoft won't be patching them after this date. Okay. So just a bit of a high-level overview of Windows 11. The design of it, it's designed to be more streamlined, a much more sort of modern and simplistic interface. Start menu has been changed, and it hopes what Microsoft hope is an intuitive layout, so you can easily access all of your applications and settings within Windows. The taskbar that runs across the bottom has been redesigned in Windows 11. The idea behind this is it can give you quicker access to tools and applications that you use regularly. So some of the differences between Windows 10. So if you've just moved, or if you're looking to move to Windows 11 this year, so biggest differences: a redesigned interface. As I say, the Windows 11 is designed to look more modern. It's designed to, they use the term clean, and it's a sort of a simplistic, simple view. There's productivity and multitasking tools. So Windows 10, where you could snap windows. So if you've got two applications open and you could split them on your screen, these have been improved within Windows 11. I've also made improvements to what are called virtual desktops. So this allows you to manage multiple windows and apps. And then there's some enhanced performance and security. So it's been designed to boot up faster. So you're not sitting waiting for Windows to start up in the morning when you start up your machine. It's designed to be more efficient with resource management. So as you're multitasking with multiple applications, Windows 11 has been designed to be more efficient in assigning resources. There's also some additional security features, hardware-based isolation, secure boot, and improvements to Windows Defender. The design of secure boot is effectively, it's designed to stop any what you possibly term dubious applications or processes from running when your machine starts up. So effectively, if Windows will stop anything that it thinks is going to carry out any actions that it shouldn't be, effectively, when your machine starts up. Okay. So updates to the start menu. So Windows 11, if you've not seen it before, your start menu is now centered at the bottom of the screen instead of in the bottom left corner. You can pin applications, so you can pin the applications that you use most onto your start menu. And it also features a new thing called recommended files. So previous versions of Windows within applications, you'd be able to see files that you've worked on recently. Windows 11 will show you recommended files, which we'll have a look at. Changes to the taskbar. Some of the icons have been redesigned just for a more modern look and to make it easier and quicker to identify applications. There's some enhancements in functionality, so it allows you to manage your apps and notifications. You can be more efficient. You can streamline your workflow, and overall, users, you can now access your most used applications directly from the taskbar. You don't actually have to use the start menu. So virtual desktops. It was available in Windows 10, but very often a lot of people didn't use it. It has been improved in Windows 11, and we'll look at these virtual desktops. But the idea of them is that it can help you to be more productive and organize your applications and tasks that you're working on. Okay. As I'd mentioned, improvements in system performance. So it should start up much quicker in a morning or whenever you switch it on. As I've mentioned before, the resource management should be more efficient. So when you're switching between apps and you're multitasking, it should be much more efficient in assigning resources, which results in smoother multitasking. So rather than applications being a little bit clunky as you switch from one thing to another, Windows 11 is designed to allow you to multitask in a much smoother manner. Another change for Windows updates is actual Windows updates. Microsoft have tried to streamline the process, which should result in much quicker installations. They've also set updates to be much smaller in size. So rather than you having to sit for an awful long time waiting for updates to download and then install, the idea with Windows 11 is these updates will be much smaller, so it'll be much quicker to be able to download and install them, therefore giving you more time back and reducing frustration of sitting waiting for Windows to update. And as I mentioned, the whole purpose of these smaller updates is that it can get these things like the crucial security patches out and installed quicker than previously. So some of the security features, so the hardware-based isolation, so to help you put my teeth in and try again, protect sensitive data on your processors. As I mentioned, the secure boot, so only trusted software will be allowed to run as the system starts up. So helping to prevent things like unauthorized access of applications running as the machine starts up and an outsider gaining access. And also there's improvements to Windows Defender. Again, all wrapped up in these regular smaller updates. Okay, so I could come out of my presentation and I'll just minimize this. So my Windows 11 desktop. So as I'd mentioned, start button now sits in the center. It is possible to configure it so that it sits over in the bottom left corner as it did previously. Going into start, as I'd mentioned, it's a cleaner, more simple view for your start menu. So I've got a few pinned applications. And as I'd mentioned, it now gives you these recommended files. Now, as you'll notice with these, mastering Windows 11 tells me I edited it, but it's also telling me I've got some others that one of my colleagues has edited. So these files, my cybersecurity responses. So this is a shared file. It's actually stored on in a SharePoint library that myself and one of our other trainers, Sabrina, will look at and review for our customers doing our cybersecurity training. So the reason that it recommends it is these are files either that I have edited recently or they're files that I interact with on a regular basis. And it's just telling me, in this case, Sabrina Griffin has edited this file that I look at on a regular basis. So it just recommends I might want to go and look at that because it's been changed. Down in the bottom right, I've got my power button that I can use to shut down. So if I want to find an app that isn't listed, so up at the top, I can search for apps, but I can also search for settings and for documents. So my search within my start menu isn't just for I'm looking for an app. I can search for anything. Now I've got an application on my laptop called PDF Docs, used for creating and editing PDFs. So if I do a search for PDF, so it then breaks it down into all of the different areas that I can look. So it comes up with the best match, and it's found an app called PDF Docs. I can search the web. I can search for converting PDF to Word, PDF editors. I can search for documents. So it then tells me it's found this document called test that's a .pdf. There's a guide, there's a pipelines guide, there's a document that we've been working on recently. Within PDF Docs, it shows me recent files that I've worked on within that application. So just across the top, this is showing me everything that it's found. But I can say, actually, I was looking for an app. It's found PDF Docs. It will also go and look in the Microsoft Store, and I can search in the Microsoft Store for apps that include PDF. I can search for documents. Again, it will show me anything that I've created or that I've worked on recently that either is a PDF or contains PDF. I can do a web search. So it will go and search the web for PDF. I can check settings. I can even look for people. I can check folders. I could even go and look for photos that are stored on my machine. So if I go back to apps, so I want to use PDF Docs on a regular basis. What I don't want to have to do though is click start, come up to search, type PDF and wait for it to go and find it. So I want to actually pin PDF Docs to my start menu. So it's just a simple case of right click onto it, and then I get two different options. So I can pin it to start or I can pin it to the taskbar. So in this case, I'll pin it to start. Now, if I just click away, when I go back into start, it's now pinned PDF Docs onto my start menu. Now, the default setting is it adds it as the last icon on my start menu, but you can customize this if you wanted to. So from here, if I right click onto an app that's pinned, up at the top, I get the option, I can move it to the front. I could remove it from start if I've decided actually I don't want it on my start menu, or I can pin it to the taskbar. Now, moving it to the front moves it to become the first app within my start menu. The other option that I've got if I want to arrange them is I can drag and drop them into any order that I want. So under a right click, I can move it to be the first one in the apps. I can remove it from start. I can pin it to the taskbar, or I can drag and drop them into any order that suits. So I'm not stuck with they've got to be in alphabetical order, for example. I can arrange them in any order that I want to. Okay, so that's our start menu. We can search for apps, and as we'd seen, I can also search for documents and for settings. So if I just click away from start menu, and just next to the start menu, I've got a search. And when I click into search, so this then opens up a very quick and simple search. So things recent are things that I've searched for and used recently. So I searched for an application called Camtasia. I searched for a remote desktop, and I searched for Windows PowerShell. I've got some quick searches. So what are my focus settings, sound settings? Do I want to go into display settings? And to use any of these, you just simply click the one that you want. It will run a search for display settings. My top apps these are effectively the apps that I use more than any other. Okay, and if I just go into search, I'm going to search for PDF again. The search within my main search on the taskbar effectively opens up that same one that I found when I went into the start menu. So the best match again, PDF Docs app. I can do web search, I can search for documents. And again, I can narrow it down to, I just want apps, I want documents, I want a web search, I'm looking for any PDF related settings, I'm looking for people, folders, or photos. So if I just run another search again, because so I'll go into apps. From here, I can also right click onto an app result. I can unpin it from the start, or I can pin it to the taskbar. So you don't have to actually go into the start menu. If you wanted, there's an app I use regularly. You can just jump straight into search. When it finds the app, you can say, actually pin that to my start menu, or pin it to my taskbar. I don't even want to have to bother with the start menu. I just want a shortcut on my taskbar permanently. Okay, so that's the new Windows 11 start menu and search. Now, just moving along the taskbar is the next icon along is something called Task View. Now, when you've got multiple applications or for example, documents open, you can, of course, hover your cursor over at the bottom. And if I hover on here, it tells me I've got 3 different documents open. If I go to my browser, I've got a browser page, I've got Teams open, I've got an Excel spreadsheet open, I've got a presentation, I've got Outlook, and I've got this Zoom meeting. Now, in previous versions of Windows, if I wanted to go through all of the different windows that I've got open, there was a keyboard shortcut, which is the Alt key and Tab. And each tab would move through all of the different windows that I've got open. However, that does rely on me remembering it's the Alt key, having to keep the Alt key held down and tab through. So if I wanted to say, for example, I wanted to go to Copilot. So I tab through, release the Alt key, it takes me to. However, for Windows 11, there's something called Task View. So when I click it, don't need to hold the Alt key, and it tells me currently on this screen, I've got all of these different windows open. Now, I have got a second screen. It's on that one. It's opened up and shows me I've only got one window open on that, which is my outline for me to prompt me for these are the points I need to go through in this session. So for any of these, if I wanted to jump back to my presentation, I can click it. It brings that window into focus. I'll just minimize this down again. I'll go back into my task view. The other thing that I can do from my task view is if I right click onto one of these windows and it gives me the option, I can snap left and I can snap right. So in Windows 10, if I just collapse this view back and I'll bring up that presentation, you had the option of that you can click and drag a window, and if you drag it off the side, it would snap into position and you can choose the one that you want to put at the side of it. Just maximize that and minimize it down again. So using task view on a right click, I can say I want to snap this window to the left or snap it to the right. So I'll snap this one to the left. It then shows me the remaining windows, and I can choose which window I want to have on the right hand side. So rather than using a click and drag, I can use that task view and I can snap windows into position. Let's just go back in our task view again. The other thing that I can do is I can create virtual desktops. So if you notice now, I've got my presentation, I've now got this group because I snapped the two into position. It's kept that as an additional window that I can go back to. So even though I minimized them down, in my task view, it has kept that view for me to be able to go back to it rather than having to, okay, then I'll go back, I'll right click, snap left, snap right. It keeps it in the background. If you want to get rid of one, you can just close it and it'll remove those windows for you. If I use, let's use this Viva Engage outline. So if I just right click onto this, so I can snap left, I can snap right. I also get the option, I can move this to a completely new desktop. So I'm going to move this to a different desktop. So I've now got desktop 1, desktop 2. Desktop 2 has only got that one document open on it. And I can now switch between desktops. And the idea of this is I'm going back into my task view and I'm going to say I want to move this workflows outline and I'm going to move this to desktop 2. My desktop 1 is now getting less and less cluttered, and I'm also going to say I want this Excel creating pivot tables, and I'm going to move that to desktop 2 as well. So now desktop 1, I've got Copilot open, I've got my Outlook inbox, and I've got Teams open. Desktop 2, I've got my 3 Word documents or 2 Word documents that I'm working on. The idea of these multiple desktops is it lets me separate out what I'm working on. So I can say, okay, desktop 2 is for me to concentrate on my Office applications. Desktop 1 is for Outlook and Teams and communication. However, if I just jump back into task view, what you may want is I might decide, well, actually, I want to keep abreast of email that's coming and going, but it's only on desktop 1. If I'm working on desktop 2, I'm not going to see my email notifications. So what I can do, if I right click on this, it gives me the option to say, I want to show this window on all of my desktops. So if I go to this one, if I go to desktop 2, I've now got Outlook running. So I can access Outlook from desktop 1 or desktop 2. So no matter what I'm working on, I've got access to my Outlook email. And you can have more desktops depending on how many different things you're working on. But the whole idea of them is it allows you to separate out your applications for multitasking. So it could be desktop 1, I might have, in this case, I've got Outlook, Teams, and I've got Copilot. So I've got communication and web applications open. Desktop 2, I'm working on my Office applications. I might have a desktop 3 where I might open my case management system to be working on customer, client and matter related work. Okay, and if you want to close any of the desktops, you can just close it. You can also drag and drop things from one desktop to another. So if I move everything from desktop 2, I can drag and drop it over onto desktop 1. I could close desktop 2. I'm back to just having my one desktop. Okay, so this is my task view. As I'd mentioned with the snap left and snap right, the other option that we have, if I get one of these documents, let's use this outline document. If you use drag and drop in Windows 11 to snap windows into position, so grab the title bar, I can drag it around. If I drag this into the top right or top left corner, if you notice it shades a small part of it, Windows 11 will let me tile. Let's go with a workflows outline. And then I might want Copilot. And for this one, I might want my Teams channels. So with Windows 11, you can tile 4 different windows. And I can just maximize one back again. We'll jump back over to Okay, so using drag and drop, you can tile them four. If you just want to, just drag it to the center and it will snap it into position. Okay, so that's our Snap Assist. And we'd looked at our task view. We can have multiple desktops. Other things that we can do within Windows 11. I just minimize these for a second. Just drag this one down. I've still got that group. I can close those. So Windows 11, other things that it will do is down in the bottom right-hand corner. So where I've got the date and time, if you notice just next to it, there's a little bell. And at the moment, mine's got ZZ. So do not disturb is switched on. This is my notification. So incoming email, etc. The reason it's gone to do not disturb is it's recognized that I'm sharing my screen. So for example, if you're in things like the Teams meeting, when you go to share your screen, Teams automatically switches to do not disturb, so notifications don't pop up. Windows 11 does the same thing. So if I click onto my notification, so shows me my date and time, and I can check the dates, etc. Up at the top, I've got my notifications. So a meeting invite that came in earlier, and I've got 20 others. And you can clear these notifications. The other thing that you can do within Windows 11 is within your calendar, down in the bottom right, you've got this option called Focus. And what Focus does is effectively it turns on Do Not Disturb. So at the moment, mine is set at 30 minutes. And you can adjust this. But what this lets you do at any point during the day is, for example, I'm drafting an important document. I don't want to be disturbed by incoming email notifications, etc. So what I can say is, I want to focus for the next 30 minutes. And when I hit focus, creates me a focus. Up next, it says I'm going to take a 5-minute break. But at the moment, my focus is my notifications are turned off temporarily. I can pause it and let them in, and I can start and stop my focus. So it's a handy one for, I want notifications because I want to know if I'm getting Teams messages and incoming email, but at the same time, I want to be able to turn that off periodically because I want to be able to concentrate on something. Okay, so it's just a case of, if you just click onto the date and time, and I can end my focus session. So at the moment, it will tell me I'm focusing, and I can end it at any point. But yeah, it's a handy little tool for Windows 11. For ordinarily, I want to see incoming email, but from time to time, I want to turn that off because I want to be able to concentrate on something that I'm working on. Okay, so that's our focus. Now, the other thing that comes with Windows 11 is down in the bottom left-hand corner. So at the moment, I've got this little app, and it just says at the moment it's 14 degrees and cloudy. So where I am currently in North Nottinghamshire, that's the weather. It's 14 degrees and it's cloudy. However, if I just hover on this, it opens up this pane of what's termed widgets. So within my widgets on this left-hand side, this you can customize. So I've customized mine. So I've added a focus session. I've got a Microsoft feed, and I've also added a widget for a note sidebar, which is effectively, it's just a simple note-taking tool. So these widgets, they're just little tools. So if you want to add one, click on the little plus up at the top, and we can pin widgets. You might want a countdown, a focus session, a Microsoft feed, notes, sports, timers, tips, traffic details. I just close this. I scroll down in here. So I've got my notes. I've got the weather, which is the one that it displays. I've also got details to show me what's the traffic like locally. And you can customize these. So if I decided, oh, I want to remove my focus session, click on the three little dots and I can just unpin it. And you can change whether they're small or medium in size. So it's completely customizable, as I say, weather, the traffic, and you can go into the store and find more widgets. Widgets within here, it's a little bit like the App Store when Apple released the iPhone. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of them in there. Some of them you'd see and think pointless. Others you'd go, actually, that's a really handy little tool. Okay. My Microsoft feed is telling me things that have happened or that I've been working on recently within my Microsoft 365 ecosystem. As we'd seen in the recommended files, Sabrina had updated this file. I updated this presentation. Rebecca recorded a meeting that I was in recently. So they're my widgets. Then on this right-hand side, this Discover is just showing me sources from the web that it thinks I might be interested in. However, under Following, you can set up things that are of interest to you. So you can add channels for Windows 11 to go and scour the web and find information for you. So for example, I've set up, I want to follow cybersecurity. So what it will do is it will monitor hundreds and hundreds of web pages, for topics relating to cybersecurity, things relating to artificial intelligence, and things relating to Microsoft. So things like it's found ransomware, Microsoft, it's found something from Windows Central. If I scroll down, it's found some information from a tech radar, some online digital details about Windows. So it's finding information from dozens and dozens of sites, but I just tell it, these are the topics that I'm interested in. And if you go to add a channel, and you can search for them, as you can see, broken down by categories. I did a search earlier for cyber and it's remembered it. So it might be, I'm interested in health and fitness, food and drink. And as I say, there are literally hundreds of them. There's even specific publishers. So for example, if you wanted to follow the Guardian, it will monitor content published from the Guardian or from Sky News. Okay, but you can customize all of this feed to suit. The other thing with it is you can completely ignore this. If I just click away, all it does at the moment is it just gives me an overview of the weather and it tells me it's going to get warmer tomorrow. But it's one of those, it's a nice feature because you customize it to show what you want to be able to see. Okay, so as I say, click it to open it up. I've got my widgets, so you can add additional widgets. And then under Following, I can add channels or topics that I'm interested in. It will create me effectively, it creates me a news feed for me to keep up to date on all of these different topics. Okay, so we've had a look at virtual desktops. We had a look at the task view and additional snap, notifications. One of the other changes for Windows 11 is a change to print screen. Now, I just need to open up. Let's open up I'll open up this document. Okay, so print screen has got new functionality in Windows 11. So previous versions of Windows, when you press the print screen key on your keyboard, it took a screenshot of whatever was on screen at that time. Now, when you press print screen, it shades the screen. I don't know how well this shows up. There's a little crosshair for my cursor, and up at the top, I've got a little toolbar appear. So if you've ever used the snipping tool from previous versions of Windows, it's been incorporated into print screen. So the default setting now is when you press print screen, it will open up Snip. This will let me click and drag and select a portion of the screen. It's then copied that to the clipboard. I can paste it into an email or a document or anything that I'm working on. I'm just going to print the screen again. Just on the right, I've got an option here, the standard setting. Do I want a rectangle? Do I want the entire window? Do I want the full screen? Do I want to be able to freeform and draw the area on screen that I want to actually snip? The other thing that I can do with it is I can also record my screen. So rather than I just want a static image of something that's on screen, it will let me record something that's happening on my screen. So if I go into record, and again, I can choose the area that I want to pick up. So I'm going to go up into the top right-hand corner and I'll click and drag across. And I'm going to say, I want to record my ribbon at the top. So it then gives me the option of when do I want to start recording. I can even record sound as well if I wanted to. So it's using my headset microphone, but at the moment it's muted. Okay, so what I will do is, oops, let's just adjust that back a little bit. So when I click to start, a little countdown to let me know when it's ready, and it will now record what I'm doing on screen. And I can pause it and I can stop. So I've got a few seconds here. I'll stop this recording. Okay, it shows me my little recording that it's done. But the other thing that it does is, as it tells me here, they're automatically saved to your screen recordings folder. It can be turned off. So also get the option, I can save it. I can go and edit it in Clipchamp. I can copy it. I can even share it. But what I'll do is I'll open the screen recordings folder. So sits in my profile. Here's my recording. I can then play that back anytime I want. I can share it with people. So it's a handy one where previously it would be a screenshot of an error or something that's going wrong. If you've got an issue on your machine and you want to be able to show somebody what's happening, now using print screen, you can actually record what happens and you can share that recording with them so that they can see exactly what has happened on your screen. Okay, they're the sort of the main new and different features within Windows 11. As I say, a lot of what's changed is sort of in the background of things that you don't see. The idea of it being more being better with assigning resources for multitasking, but the really useful ones for me as an end user are things like the task view, the additional desktops. And certainly things like being able to control notifications, etc. And also the snapping of being able to quarter it if you wanted to now. There were a couple of questions that came up before the webinar. One was to explain the benefits of using Windows 11 in business. Hopefully what we've covered partially answers that. The other one is probably more importantly, everybody's effectively being forced by Microsoft because they are ending support in October this year. One of the others was with 600 users in multiple offices, what would be the best advice regarding testing and rollout? Are there any gotchas that are regularly overlooked? If I'm honest, I'm probably not the right person to ask because I'm more from an end user, but certainly feel free to reach out to our technical team. They would be able to answer that one for you. With regards to a question on how we're deploying Window to remote machines, so are we performing upgrades in situ via iTunes and the company portal, or do we recommend a blank slate approach and invite them to swap their laptops? We've done it in both ways. For some customers, the move to Windows 11 has coincided with an overall technology refresh. So it was all of the laptops are being swapped. The new laptop has Windows 11. For others, where their current sort of kit or technology is fairly up to date, it's been done via Intune. And then the other question that came in are there any sessions on how to use Copilot with Windows 11? The answer is yes. We did do a Copilot session a few months ago, so you should be able to access the recording. If you go through that recording and you do want any additional help with it, feel free to reach out to us at Quiss. We're more than happy to jump on a call and discuss all things Copilot with you. Okay. Are there any other questions that have come in?
Yes, we've just got one in now, just saying, I don't appear to have the task view or the weather widget. I'm assuming, Fakir, that you are on Windows 11. Any ideas on what might be going wrong on that one?
They should be there by default. If they're not, it could have been turned off from an administrator level. But yeah, the task view and the widgets should be on by default. So if they are missing, but you are definitely on Windows 11, it would be a case of contact tech support, because it could be that somebody's turned those off at an admin level. But yeah, certainly the task view is particularly helpful.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like yeah, you are, aren't you? So that's good. Hopefully, your IT team will be able to help you with that. It was just a quick question, James, and apologies if I didn't quite get this. When we're looking at the print screen, I thought that was really interesting around recording. So I thought that's a fantastic, it's great for reporting errors to sort of, if you've got a problem and you're having to show help desk. But also I thought, this is great, isn't it, for like training a trainee or something like that. If you're working on a document and you sort of want to explain what's going on. Does it only work in Word, or will it work on your desktop? I'm just sort of, for example,
it would work in, if I can quickly jump into print screen. I can go to record. It will record anything that's on screen. So although I used Word as an example, it could be it could be Outlook, it could be your case management system, anything at all. You just simply, actually, if I said I want to record the whole thing, I'll start recording. And let's say, for example, if I go to File Explorer, just so it opens something else. And then I'll minimize this and I'll stop the recording. When I play it back, it literally records everything that was on screen. So yeah, if it's for something like training purposes and you need to switch between lots of different applications, absolutely brilliant, because you don't need to keep stopping and starting. It's just literally record what I'm doing on screen.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was just thinking, we've got a new application internally, and in the past you'd have written a great big user manual, wouldn't you? But actually, this is a way of, basically you can create something, but just have lots of videos, which is much more meaningful for the end user, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Okay, any more questions? I don't think we've got any more in there at the moment. I mean, I have to say, I thought there were some really useful tips there. I like the focus session. Again, I'm sort of, trying to sort of block time and be able to sort of, turn off notifications and have different desktops where, you're not getting notifications from your inbox as well. I think that's the thing that we all suffer from in a very busy world, isn't it? Sort of trying to sort of block time and not be distracted by things pinging. And I thought that was incredibly useful. I've been a Windows 11 user for a while, so that was just, for me, that was really, really helpful. Anybody else got any final points? I don't think so. As I say, if there is anything that comes out of this, whether you're already using Windows 11, you were just trying to sort of work out what more functionality and capability it had, I hope that today has proved useful. Again, if you are in the process of rolling it out, then, and you've got any questions, whether that be for the end user or if you need something more technical around rolling it out to a multi-office, then you know, either speak to James on the end user, or the team at Quiss can help you with that rollout of functionality as well. All the details we will send to you alongside a copy of this presentation, this recording of this webinar, and also the presentation that James had on earlier as well. So yeah, please do reach out to us. I think there'll also be a feedback form as you close. If there's anything else in terms of tech applications that you'd like to see more on, whatever that may be, we've done sort of 5 or 6 already this year. So if you go on the Bristol Law Society website under Quiss, you'll see the recordings that we've already got. But if there is anything else there that you think would be really useful, then we're really keen to hear about that. We're running these on a sort of, you know, every couple of months basis. And very keen to provide you with the content that you as our members and end users want. James, is there anything else? I'm very grateful to you for your time today. I certainly found it useful. Is there any final thoughts before we let people go?
No, I don't think so. I think what Microsoft have tried to do with this change to Windows is it's more of a sort of evolution rather than revolution. But it's certainly a few really handy things that are simple to use. As you'd mentioned, things like being able to set that focus of, ordinarily, I need to know that mail is coming in. But as you say, I just want half an hour, 45 minutes where I'm not getting these notifications. And certainly the improvements to the virtual desktops, because we're all guilty of having dozens and dozens of things open. We can now be more organized with all those dozens of different windows that we're working on at the same time.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. I shall go try and create some time in my diary to organise myself a little better. But that's very helpful. Well, thank you to everybody who's attended today. I hope you found that interesting. As I say, please do feedback, and we will share the information with you probably over the course of the next day or so. Just give us a bit of time to edit this and get it over to you. And yeah, we very much look forward to seeing you at the next BLS and Quiss webinar. Thanks very much indeed.